Episode 11 here on Elevation, WDWA and Wrestle Talk Podcast. We team up once again. John, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. Happy to be here, just absolutely still running off that great show that we had this past weekend, man. It has just been an awesome time, and glad to be here with you, Gavin. It's always a great time, and welcome to everybody just tuning in to us here.
Yeah, I see Andrew Dowdy joined us in the chat. How you doing, man? It's always good seeing you. Good having you on Elevation. You've been here and supporting not only WDWA and Wrestle Talk, but Elevation since the beginning. So here we are, episode 11, man, number 11. And tonight we have a very special guest, the current light heavyweight champion, the Blaze, H. Christian, will be joining us later, John.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time to talk to him, man. I know he's been wanting to get on the show, and so finally be able to get him on the show and sit down and talk to the champ himself. It's just going to be an absolute great conversation, and just look forward to chatting with him here tonight.
Yeah, I know he's always picking on you all the time about when we're going to bring him on and stuff like that, and timing's everything. So, this time we had the time, we had the room, and, Ace Christian's perfect timing in his career as light heavyweight champion to bring him on to be able to showcase all things about him. So perfect time, perfect place, and can't wait to do that later.
Yeah, he's doing an absolute great job representing that light heavyweight championship, and we'll get into it here in a little bit, but, absolute surprise this weekend from him, and, just great guy all around, and just looking forward to seeing more out of Ace Christian and just where exactly he's going from here,
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more with him later, but I gotta say, as the owner of WDWA, I've been very impressed with the kid since he's come through the curtain here at the World Domination Wrestling Alliance. But would somebody just say something? I saw that. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, well,
I think we need to try to get Sam on here. What do you think?
Hey, I'm all for it. I think he might try to avoid me, though. I don't know if you caught that exchange that took place at the last show. Did you catch the exchange there?
I did, man. But why don't you go ahead and play that, man, for everybody else? Because I thought that was awesome, man.
I actually, if you missed it and you haven't caught the clip going around, I actually approached Brothers Gray, they're 1/3 of the syndicate, and I wanted to know where Sam was, because I am still trying to get that belt back. So here's the clip of the exchange.
Where the hell is Sam?
Alrighty. It's simple, man. Listen, you want to keep challenging Sam? You got to find a way to get to Sam, all right?
I think he's hiding from me. I think he's scared.
He's got a DM list this long,
He done took my title. He done ran to Puerto Rico with it. I think he's scared of me.
We all know Samuel Adams ain't scared of no man. All right, no man, no beast, no monster. So why don't you get it on out of here, all right?
You better tell him I'm coming for him. And he better be here with my title.
All right. Pass that along, partner. Now keep it moving. Gonna open up the doors and turn in.
Need your belt back.
I do. I need my damn belt back.
Damn, John, you were pissed, man. Those are two big dudes, man, that you walked up and got in their face.
Well, I don't even know what to say. I mean, Sam, he took off with my belt. We haven't seen him since. You mentioned he was supposed to be at the last show when we had our last Elevation, and then all of a sudden, he couldn't make it. It took off to Puerto Rico with it in the beginning, and it just, I don't know. It's frustrating, and it just got the best of me, Your security there, they took me to the back, and Donnie, he got me calmed down in the back, and but it's frustrating. I mean, you got to get Sam back, and we got to get my belt back, man.
Sheila said she'd help you.
I don't doubt that she would. I know Sheila's got my back, you know.
Yeah, she does. She's a good one to have your back. She'll go to war with you.
As long as JTR isn't by my side, that is.
Yeah, you don't want to be around her when JTR's around, man. She'll go through you to get to him. But yeah, man, you mentioned Aftermath at the beginning of the show. What a fantastic show. Fans turned up, man. They were loud the entire time. They had the place rocking. The Berkeley County Youth Fairgrounds is always fun to be at. They always are nice hosts, and man, they host the second ambulance match in WDWA history, man. It was one hell of a show.
Yeah, that was an absolute great match, and of course, we'll get into that here in just a little bit because we got a lot of matches to talk about before we get to that one, and
Matt.
Well, I already know I have to sanitize it when I get it back. That's not not even a question, But
you don't know what's on those.
But yeah, definitely. Great match. So why don't we go ahead and get into the night there of Aftermath and just go through a little bit of what went on. Our first match, we had Axel Crow versus Sean Phoenix. Great match, a lot of great stuff, but surprise ending there. Were you expecting that turn by Sean Phoenix after Axel Crow won?
I honestly, before we get to the end of the match, man, this match had everything I thought it would be. Both these participants are incredible athletes. Every time they come out, each individual themselves steal the room. All eyes turn to them, and to be able to put both of those two up against each other really showcased what WDWA brings to the table. Both these guys step it up. They both want to be good at what they do, and it was just great. But you want to talk about the end of the match. Everything looked like Axel Crow was going to join Legion. Throughout the match, Dex came out. Dex was talking in his ear. He was applauding. I don't know if you saw that or not. He would clap when Axel would do something great. He offered Axel a spot in Legion, and Axel declined, man. Axel, apparently didn't want nothing to do with it. Dex was not happy about that. He said some choice words to Axel he didn't like, and when Axel turned his back to Sean Phoenix, man, took a chair straight to his back and put Axel Crow down. And then after that, we saw something else we never see, man. We saw Sean Phoenix sacrifice himself into Legion, which is the first one of Legion who's done that. Everybody else, Dex is kind of just taken over, but Sean Phoenix willingly went with Dex, man. What do you think of that?
It was an absolute shock to me when that happened. I wasn't expecting it at all. And, when that happened, I actually went on Facebook. I was on commentary, but I took a second. I went on Facebook and I actually put out there, why Sean Phoenix? Why? And of course, his only answer was, I had to do what I did, or actually said something like, whatever it takes to get a Klondike bar or something like that. Yeah,
I mean,
but it is what it is,
Yeah, I mean, he's been going to social media for weeks now, just down and dejected about the way his career's been going here at WDWA. He hasn't been able to buy a win in quite some time, and I think it was a last straw for him. He was unable to beat Axel Crow, and figured he was out of options. And I'm hoping that we get some more answers down the line. But you saw, man, everybody else that's joined Legion, they've come back as completely different people. So I'm intrigued, man. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm sure this feud with Axel Crow and Legion's just started, man.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's just to see the whole thing, just I would like to say I was at a loss for words almost. And Sean, he's always been a heck of a nice guy, and everything he's been through to get back in the ring, he's always been a fighter. And so to see him just take that chair and just wear Axel out with the chair, and then just drop to his knees and I surrender to you, that just, I was at a loss. I couldn't believe it. That's not the Sean Phoenix I thought we would ever see. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens from here with Sean, because he's always been a force and a fighter. So
we'll
see what he's going to do with them.
We'll see how he is when somebody else is pulling the strings.
Exactly.
But man, that was the first match to start tonight, man. But the action didn't stop there. Match 2, you had Johan Nara versus the most decorated WDWA superstar of all time, the Steel City Sex Pistol, Shane Malice. John, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, there again, another great match. Both men, they fought hard, and just an absolute great match between both of them. And I really like Shane. I do. He has been a great competitor throughout the years with WDWA, and so even though most people boo him, I really like Shane, but he hasn't had the best of luck without his son by his side. You look at before his son came to WDWA with him, and he was not on the best of streak there, and now without his son by his side, he's went back to not having the best of luck for the night, and I don't know what it's going to take for Shane to get back on the winning track and just really be back on top the way he always has been. But I know he'll get it figured out, and he will get there. So,
yeah, man, like every time we speak of Shane Malice, we always start off with saying most decorated, of WDWA, but, you should only be judged about what you currently do. The past is a past, and, once you lose your championship, you no longer are the champion. In order to win a title, if you are not the champion anymore, that means you've had to lose it. That means somebody was better. We can put all these accolades in front of Shane Malice all day long, but the Shane Malice that we've seen recently hasn't been the Shane Malice that you and I know, Hos. I think he's got all the abilities in the world. I think no matter who he gets in the ring with, he elevates, and that showed with Johan Nara. I mean, he pulled something out of Johan Nara that we haven't seen here at WDWA, and Johan Nara was able to take down the almighty Shane Malice, man. And it was a great competitive match. Both men very skilled in what they do. I agree with you. I think Malice he's going to have to get back to the drawing board and figure out what he's going to do to go forward to be successful. But can't take away nothing from Johan Nara, man. That was his night.
Yeah, definitely. And that was quite an impressive win over Shane by Johan. He's fairly new here in WDWA, and so to see him pull out a victory over Shane Malice was absolutely something. And Matt's right. He Shane did make some key mistakes in the match, and one thing we did mention up there on commentary was that Shane, he did a lot of pandering to the crowd. He paid a lot of attention to the crowd. And when you were in the ring with somebody like Johan, you just can't do that. You can't pay attention to the crowd and pander to the crowd. You got to stay on them. And so it was quite impressive, though, to see Johan pull out the victory. But, after that, we thought we were just going to hear some words from Ty Awesome, because it had been advertised that, you know, we were just going to hear from Ty Awesome. And, you know, Ty came out, he started to, no longer Ty Awesome, now he's Tyler, not Ty, but, when he came out there and, he was talking, it didn't take very long though before his talking ended and turned into a fight. I don't even say a match. It was a fight. When Ace Christian, our guest tonight, he came out and interrupted Ty, and the two of them just absolutely went at it, which is why we don't have a poster for it. We're not putting up a poster because of the fact this was not a scheduled match. It was not something that we absolutely expected to happen. It turned into a fight, and of course, our light heavyweight champion, Ty Christian, came out on top on that match.
Ace Christian.
Too many names going through my head here. But yeah, Ace Christian came out on top on that match, and it was a heck of a fight between those two. When Ace came out of that locker room, nobody even knew he was there. I mean, I hadn't seen him throughout the night. I don't know if you saw him earlier in the night or not, but I mean, like I say, I hadn't seen him. I didn't know he was there. And he just all at once came through the curtain, and, that one thing led to another, and they were fisticuffs, and we had Joey come out, and we had a match, out of nowhere.
So what do you think of this new attitude with Tyler Hastings?
The fans have always been behind Ty Awesome. The fans don't seem to be digging this Tyler Hastings much at all right now. But I could see bits and pieces of Ty Awesome and Tyler Hastings, but he's just got a lot tougher attitude, a lot more down to business than what Ty Awesome was. And I mean, it's a good thing in one way, because I mean, yeah, the fans aren't going to like it as much, but him being in there and being all business and not pandering, that could take him a lot further than, the attitude of Ty Awesome would, as far as in-ring goes, but how much he's always loved his fan interaction. So how much is not having the fans at his back, what's that going to play into it? So it remains to be seen. I look forward to seeing more of where this goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what the guy with the supply, Tyler Hastings, is going to bring here to WDWA. I kind of am looking forward to the no nonsense, Tyler Hastings. I've seen what Ty Awesome can bring. I think Ty Awesome was tremendous. I would love to see what Tyler Hastings brings when he's able to focus and not be a crowd pleaser. I think he's, Ty Awesome would always show up and he'd want to have fun. He'd want to do some cosplay stuff. He would like to do like some Power Ranger outfits, stuff like that, stuff to help the fans get more interactive and to show like the kid inside. But I think the kid's grown into a man, and he's ready to show WDWA exactly what the abilities that he brings to the table. But on this night, Ace Christian was victorious, but unfortunately it was via countout, and Tyler Hastings actually walked away from the match. So it's unfortunate that we never saw a pinfall. Nobody's shoulders ever got pinned, but man, a win's a win.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I mentioned, up there on commentary, is something I never thought I'd see is Ty Awesome to walk away from a match. Just to say, I'm done, and walk out, that's not Ty. That's
No.
not something you'd ever see Ty do. But we saw Tyler do it. Now, I was absolutely in shock when he walked out of that match and just took a count out, because I never thought I'd see that out of him. But like you say, a win's a win. Ace Christian still comes out with the W next to his name on that one. And something tells me, though, we have not seen the last of that feud at all. But, it remains to be seen.
Only time will tell. But match 4, Mid-Atlantic Championship on the line. The new champion, Ranchan Carlson, with his first title defense against the 2025 Berkeley Battle Royal winner, former Mid-Atlantic champion himself, the Cake Boss, Victor Jones. This is a match I was looking forward to. Both of these guys going into this, I felt were fairly equal. I felt like this match could go either way, but it's going to be hard to deny the momentum that the Ranchan Carlson has here at WDWA. And, we got a chance to talk to him at the last elevation. He's super focused. He's at the top of his game in his career. Nothing against Victor Jones, but I think it's going to be hard for anybody to even touch Ranchan at this moment.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ranchan has said, he is the new Mid-Atlantic champion, and he is going to keep that title. It's not going anywhere. He is your Mid-Atlantic champion forever. And, as much as I'm sure he believes that, I'm sure eventually there's going to come a time that somebody's going to find the right recipe to take that title, but I don't know how soon that's going to be, because he is on a roll since, really since before even winning that title, he was on a roll, and he really has done a heck of a job getting to where he is. And he is just, I like to tease him a lot. I call him Walmart Cowboy, and he takes it in good fun. But you
John,
really got to respect.
I think he's making you eat your words, man. I know you've been joking with the Walmart Cowboy for so long, but man, he's proven that he's the real deal, buddy.
Yeah, you really got to give him his respect. I mean, he's won over fans, and he didn't have to change his attitude at all to do it. I mean, that's the thing, is when he first came in, fans, they didn't seem to like him too much, but then all at once they just kind of flipped a switch or something, and he started winning over fans, and he won the championship. And to see him just shaking guys' hands after the match, being a sportsman about everything, it's just, he really is gaining a lot of respect around WDWA. And, so congratulations to him. That was a very hard fought match. Could have went either way. And
Mark Roman says it's his flipping skills.
It could be, but it's just he really is doing a lot of good, and just can't wait to see more out of him and how far he goes with that title, because I think he's going to have a long title run with it.
Yeah, I don't want to take nothing against Victor Jones. I mean, he's he's still doing his thing. He's still bringing it to the table. It just, unfortunately, this was just not his night. But man, we go from one title match straight to another with the women's championship title on the line when Temptacious Tiffany Grady alongside Big Jason Curtis went against Big C-Rex. Man, what did you have to say about this match?
Wow, Tiffany, she really seemed at some points to be intimidated. She didn't know what to do with C-Rex. She couldn't get her off her feet. She kept trying to clothesline her. She kept trying to do anything she could to get her off her feet, but everything she tried just would not work, and I don't know that she knew what to do with her. And, finally it took Jason Curtis getting involved in everything. And, of course, he paid for that in the end. C-Rex is just an absolute monster and a force to deal with. And,
absolutely.
I pity anybody who gets in her way.
Yeah, we've seen C-Rex once before here at WDWA, and she was just phenomenal. I was counting down the days that she was coming in because I was happy to have her back. I was for sure that she was going to walk away victorious in this match. But, as sneaky as Tiffany Grady is, she found her way. She found a way to slay the beast or the dinosaur in this, so to speak. I can't wait to see C-Rex again. She's been doing her thing with NWA Texas and all over the place. She's been traveling all over the country, getting better every single day. I can't wait to see her back at WDWA, and I'm sure every time she comes back, she's going to get better and better. But again, John, we can say it until the cows come home, man, but that, Tiffany's a cheat and that, she shouldn't be having that title, but in the end, she finds a way, man. So it's hard to hate on that.
But I'm sure one person that doesn't look forwards to seeing C-Rex again is JTR. And not only, well, him as well. JTR and Jason Curtis both, because last time JTR saw her, he ended up flat on his back, and this time Jason Curtis ended up flat on his back. And, so I'm sure neither one of them really look forwards to seeing her again. After all, JTR wasn't even there. He
must saw her name on the card and decided he wasn't coming.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the aftermath of, what happened with Money and Power at Berkeley Mania, or if it's the fact he saw C-Rex on the card that he didn't show up. But, either way, him and Jason Curtis, either one, are looking forward to seeing C-Rex again. I am absolutely sure of that. But, then after that, we went into a little more tag action. We saw the Brothers Gray taking on the Sigma Males. The Sigma Males have just absolutely been red hot in WDWA. I don't think LDJ or Sigma Males, either one, had taken a loss prior to Aftermath.
I agree with you, Matt. Yeah, man. Sigma Males have been red hot. They've, been taking out everybody that stood in their way. Honestly, one of the best tag teams here at WDWA. But honestly, I put the Brothers Gray right there with them, man. Both these teams, phenomenal tag teams. Some of the best tag teams, not only in WDWA, but all of the East Coast right now. These guys are working so hard, working all over the place, owning their craft. I was looking forward to this match. This is one of the matches I had to. Me, John. It's show day. I'm all over the place. I have a million people to talk to, a million things to do, but this is one match that I stood off to the side and I made sure I spent the time to watch and enjoy it. Both these guys, phenomenal, but the Brothers Gray, man, got the win. They did what it took.
Yeah, obviously, I was pulling for Sigma males in this one. I wanted to see, Luke just put a warhead on that forehead, and I looked forwards to seeing the Sigma males take the victory on this one, but it just didn't happen. Brothers Gray came out on top, and so I really, really have to hand it to Brothers Gray for winning this one because, like I say, Sigma males have just been absolute dominant since they reunited, and Luke has been absolute dominant since he came in. But then Brothers Gray, they have been a tough team since coming in WDWA too. So they did come out with the victory, and you just got to hand it to them that they are a great team. But
they're a great team, but you weren't scared to yell at them.
Not at all. I just, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, and so, but then, we saw another newcomer to WDWA. We saw Party McFly come in, and of course he's not the newcomer, but we saw him take on Jamie Hall.
Man,
he was quite impressive in his debut. He is old school. He's no nonsense. He didn't want to see all this, new school party stuff out of Party McFly. And I think Party kind of surprised him a little bit. I think Party gave him a little more competition than what he thought he would. And it was an absolutely great match that, of course, we saw Hall come out with the win in that one.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Party. I think he's still new to the business. He's got a lot to learn, but man, he's been very impressive in the short stint he's had so far here at WDWA and in the wrestling business. The kid works really hard. He works hard on his body. He works hard on his craft. Nothing but respect for Party McFly. But I was really looking forward to having Hollow Jamie Hall show up here in WDWA. For those of you guys who weren't familiar with him prior to seeing him last Saturday, this guy's been around for quite some time. He's come from Georgia. Down there, he's wrestled, plenty of the Southern style wrestlers down there. He's trained with guys like Chick Donovan. He's also trained with guys like Seth Rollins. I mean, he's put in his time with all the right people to learn his craft. And this match was old school versus new school, man. That's the best way to put it. You had all flamboyant and party time with Party McFly, and you had straight business, no BS, Jamie Hall. And that's exactly what this match was. I gotta say, man, I was very impressed with Jamie Hall, and all I could see is just dollar signs coming off of him, man. Thinking about the matches and then the people that are on the roster that I would love to see him hook it up with. I think he's a force to be reckoned with, and Party held his own in this, but in the end, we saw him pass out to the Cobra Clutch, man, which, I mean, it's just fantastic to see. It's fantastic. Somebody bringing back the old move like the Cobra Clutch, and be able to lock it in, man, with the size arms that Jamie Hall brings to the table. It's just, man, I don't see anybody able to break it, John. What about you?
Yeah, like I say, Jamie was very impressive. I did talk with him a little bit before the matches, and I found out he used to be a combat medic in the military. So one thing he told us is, Uncle Sam, he took all this time and all this money and invested in me to teach me how to put people back together. So when it comes to me knowing the human body, I know it pretty well. And not only do I know how to put it back together, I know how to take it apart. And that resonated in my head through the whole match. You know, and I mentioned that on commentary as well, that, you know, he not only knows how to and put that body back together, he obviously knows how to take it apart. And, you know, he uses that to his advantage. He really does. You know, he knows where those pressure points are. He knows where he can go that it's gonna hurt and you're gonna feel it. And he knows how to put people to sleep with that Cobra clutch. And Party found that out, you know, and that's the first time I think I've ever seen Party actually just be put out the way that he was. You know, I've seen plenty of times that, you know, people have, you know, taken chairs and beaten Party, and, you know, they've just beat him down with something to the point that referees had to stop matches, or, you know, he won by disqualifications and had to be carried out, you know. So I've seen him incapacitated before, but never in that manner. You know, it was quite impressive to see from Jamie Hall.
Yeah, definitely a student of the game, definitely a no-nonsense, pure pro wrestler. And this day and age, when everybody's going 100 miles per hour, we need guys like him that are going to stop people in their tracks and remind them, hey, this isn't a game. This is pro wrestling, and you need to step the hell up. Not to say that Party McFly didn't give it his all, but Party McFly's still learning in this business. Down the line, I think Party's going to be able to hang, but he could not hang that night. And, you know, we'll be seeing Jamie Hall real soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we haven't seen the last of Jamie Hall. But, you know, when you talk about going 100 miles an hour, you know, something that absolutely has to go fast and people got to get out the way is an ambulance, you know. And that's so right. We finished out the night with an ambulance match where we saw Wraith face off against Bo Ross. And, you know, this is something that has been brewing for so long, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And it just finally got to this point. And I mean, you saw a little bit of everything in this match, and I wouldn't even really call it a match. This is another one that I would just call an outright fight, you know, because they were all over the building. They were in the stands. They were in the ring. They were all around. You saw Kalen fly off the top of the ambulance, you know, and down onto Bo. But in the end, you saw Bo throw both Dex and Wraith into the back of that ambulance, shut both doors, and the ambulance pulled away with them in the back. So, and you saw Sean Phoenix come flying out of the back of that ambulance the very first time the doors were open, you know, and you thought Bo had no support, Bo had nobody, and, you know, so the numbers game might get him at that point. But you saw Axel Crow come out to try to even the odds a little bit, took out Sean Phoenix again. They went fighting God knows where. Last we saw, they went out the door. As far as I know, they may still be fighting around Martinsburg somewhere. I have no idea, because they haven't been seen since. And, you know, this match just had a little bit of everything to it. But like I say, Bo came out on top. And now it just remains to be seen, you know, what's going to become from Wraith, what's going to become of Dex, now that we just saw them leave in an ambulance and haven't been seen since.
Yeah, man, you said it all, and it's hard to say, you know, the things that you didn't hit on. But one thing that I want to reiterate from what you said is this is long time in the making. These guys, their story starts a couple years ago. These two used to be tag team here at WDWA. They were able to take down, you know, multiple opponents and work together, and they worked together well. They both went on to win singles titles. They've come back with each other and wrestled again and been successful. But it really wasn't until Dex came into WDWA and put Kalen under whatever spell this is, and he became what we know today as Wraith, that things didn't get really serious. And it got personal, man. And we knew that there would be little to no pro wrestling here in this main event. And it was going to be a straight street fight, and somebody was going to leave in that ambulance. Both men gave it their all. I was impressed by both guys. But in the end, man, the Outlaw reigned supreme, man. And he was able to shut down Dex and Wraith and Sean Phoenix and do whatever he could to put him in the back of that ambulance, man, and walk away with the victory.
Yeah, definitely. And, like I say, it was an absolute, fight from the beginning all the way to the end, and something that, hopefully everybody got to see. Hopefully nobody missed it, because it just truly was something to see. But if you did miss it, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is you can catch up on it, because anytime you miss any action, and maybe even there might be things that happen during the show that you don't get to see, that you can catch up with on Frontline, ladies and gentlemen, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, on the Wild Patriot 22 YouTube channel. Frontline from WDWA. Let's take a quick look at Frontline.
That's right, man. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, you go to youtube.com/wildpatriot22 and you'll see Frontline and everything WDWA has to offer. So please go on there, like it, give it a share, share it on your social media, share it to your friends and family. Let's go ahead and help each other grow. John, we are getting ready to bring on the light heavyweight champion, Ace Christian. Are you excited?
Always, he really is a great guy. He likes to give me such a hard time about the fact he hasn't been on the show. He always tells me, I know you don't like me, and, but I know he's just teasing, and so I really do like this guy. He really is a great guy. I can't wait to sit and chat with him, because it's always a good time when he's around.
All right. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, your WDWA light heavyweight champion. He is the Blaze, Ace Christian.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you doing?
What's going on, Ace? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I couldn't miss it. When I got the invitation from Hos himself, I was like, I couldn't believe my eyes, because, like he said, I give him a hard time and stuff, but hey, we're here now, so let's do the thing.
It's all about timing, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I told John earlier. It's all about timing, and right now, man, is like the best time. Your career's on fire. You're light heavyweight champion. You're stacking up those wins. We mentioned earlier, your match with Ty Awesome, man. We didn't even know you were going to show up to the show, man. What happened? What were you thinking?
You know, I saw the graphic that Ty Awesome was set to be advertised and to speak his mind. I couldn't process that without, him not being able to wrestle, and I knew he was smart enough to bring his gear because I was smart enough to bring mine. And then we ended up doing the thing. I came out there. I was wrapping the wrist tape on my hands, and you saw it firsthand,
Yeah.
Gavin, because I tossed you that tape once I was done. Once he was done yapping his lips, I was ready to. Yeah, you saw it. You all saw it. So yeah, I mean, what he did at Berkeley Mania. I mean, it was one of the biggest matches of my career. It was my first Berkeley Mania. Got a W at Berkeley Mania at my first one, retained the light heavyweight championship, and Ryo shook my hand like a man, like a gentleman. But Ty, on the other hand, he had to cheap shot me. So I was going to do something about it one way or another. So and I proved that this Saturday. I had to come out there and show him who the light heavyweight champion is. And I heard him say, while I was out there, that he was above the division, and that really ticked me off because that's coming from a former light heavyweight champion himself. So the fact that he said that he was above the division, that just takes away everything that he did, and that especially takes away everything that I'm currently doing, because to me, it's just jealousy. It's just jealousy that he sees that I'm doing better with this championship than he ever could.
I definitely look at that title, and I look at that title as like anybody that holds that title can freaking go. I look at it as being the workhorse title. Everybody that's come in that's held that title. I mean, look, you went from Samwell, longest reigning light heavyweight champion in the WDWA history, into Just Jay, who held it almost just as long. And now yourself, man, like you said, you're stacking up those W's. And to be honest, man, we talked about it here on Elevation. I think the deck was stacked against you, man, at Berkeley Mania. You had two guys that have both been around for quite some time, have both, been trained by some legends, and guys that have been in the ring with some legends. And I mean, to me, what a notch on your belt to be able to say that you stood across both of those guys in the ring and became victorious. And what you did nothing wrong. There was no cheating. There was no backstabbing. There was no nothing. It was just you being you and seizing the opportunity to take a win, man. And all that says is that you're smart. You look out. You keep an eye open, and you take opportunities, man, and you do what you got to do to win. And I mean, you definitely shocked myself. I'm sure you shocked Hos. I'm sure you shocked all the Berkeley Mania audience. But I feel like this is still your foundation to your career, man. Like you still have, I hate when people use the sky's the limit. I hate when people use that term. To me, like there's no limit. You can go past the sky if you want. And I just see this as being just the base of your career, man. And to be able to start off a career with such a launching pad, being able to beat those two superstars, I find it, tremendous, man. But one thing I did want to ask you while you were on here today is, who are you looking to face, like, in your career? I mean, is there any bucket list names? Is there anybody that you want to face for the light with the, you want to put that light heavyweight championship up against?
Ooh, that's tough. Because I honestly, the simple answer I can give you is anyone that wants it, anyone that thinks that they have a shot at this championship, come see me, come see Gavin, because I'm open to any challenge, really, truly. But there's no one specific name that I can give off that I would like to face, because I would love to face everybody if I really could. But like I said, whoever thinks that they can take this away from me, that can outwork me, go ahead.
We're talking about who you'd like to face for it, but at the same time, you can't be satisfied with the ending Saturday night. You can't be
no.
satisfied with that whole thing, because I mean Tyler Hastings, he just absolutely just walked out, and you took the victory by count out, which a win is a win. No, don't get me wrong, but you can't be satisfied with that. You can't feel that this is over and ended.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's one thing that I was definitely going to bring up, and I'm glad that you bring it up now. Tyler, he thinks that this is over. But I'm gonna let him do his thing, because I see what he was doing. I see why he walked out, because like he said, he thinks he's above it. So he's going to try to go above and beyond in WDWA. He's probably going to go for the Mid-Atlantic Championship now. He's probably going for the Heavyweight Championship now. But me, I got to focus on what I have right now, and that's this Light Heavyweight Championship. I got to continue doing what I'm doing, and that is elevating this division. So am I satisfied with the win? No. But at the end of the day, the win was a win. And after that, I was so fired up, man. I don't know if you guys could see that. I was on fire. Like you said, I wasn't pleased with how I won. I would like to, prove that I could actually beat him. But at the end of the day, I walked out as the champion. So what is there to complain about? I still got the people behind me at the end of the day, something that Tyler doesn't have anymore. So I'm going to take full advantage of that, and that is exactly what I did. I celebrated with my people. I let everybody touch this title after I win. It's just more so giving back to the people, because they give me the energy that I need to fight through whoever does to me. So yeah, I mean, I'm not satisfied, but at the end of the day, it's just the train keeps moving.
So we mentioned earlier, we were curious about some of the names that you'd be interested in working with. I'm scrolling back up in the chat, towards the beginning of the night. Somebody mentioned a name that's been impressive to me. But what do you think about this name?
Oh, Rockstar Kelly. Oh, I mean, I've only seen him twice. There ain't. I mean, I've only seen him twice. But from what I saw, I mean, I think that he has a pretty cocky attitude, and I think I think he might want the smoke. So I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. But yeah, if he's watching this, if you're watching this right now, Rockstar, come get some.
Like I said earlier, man, I think this is the workhorse championship. I think no matter what, your back's going to be up against the wall, and you're going to have to fight your way nonstop. That being said, we have your next match ready to post here live on Elevation.
Ooh.
So it will be a four-way light heavyweight championship match on October 11th at No Remorse. It would be yourself versus Rockstar Kelly versus Dean Mosley versus Rex Riddle. 4 great competitors, but only one can win. Ace, what do you got to say about that match, man?
Gavin, always putting the deck against my card, putting the back against the wall of me. Hey, but that's okay.
I'm okay with putting your back up against the wall, because I know you can handle it. What my job is to do is to present the best wrestling that I feel. I feel like these 3 opponents and yourself will kill it. That being said, I know you have a lot on your plate, and I know that it's going to be hard on you, but all of you guys have earned this shot. Oh,
yeah. So, Dean Mosley, Rex Riddle, and Rockstar Kelly. It's funny that he brought up the name.
It's funny how that happens. It just flows together.
It is very funny how that happens. All I got to say to them is they got to be ready to outwork me, because that's the biggest thing. Is I'm glad that you keep mentioning the workhorse. That is what I carry this championship for, is to prove that I am a workhorse, not only in this division, but in the company WDWA. And you also mentioned my back up against the wall. I like to consider myself the comeback kid, because no matter how bad I get beaten down, I always find a way to come back up. whenever I first started in WDWA, I was getting loss after loss after loss. But did that stop me? No. I took an opportunity, and that opportunity was when Just Jay thought that his reign was at his peak. His reign was at his prime. But in reality, that reign was at its downfall whenever I came out, laid out the challenge, and ended up taking this championship from him. And ever since then, the light heavyweight division has elevated. And that is exactly why I'm holding this championship, is to prove that I can elevate and to prove that I am a force to reckon with within WDWA.
Yeah, there's no argument here. Like, you know, you've definitely proven yourself, not only in the light heavyweight division, but on the entire roster, you know, itself. I think you, like I said earlier, you have a bright future ahead of you, and I think everybody should not sleep on your abilities, man. And I know if they do, you're ready to kick the taste right out of their mouth.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Literally.
And you know, you brought up Just Jay. It's like, you know, Just Jay thought he had all the tools, and when he turned his back on what you mentioned, you know, you're focused, you're ready to take on all newcomers. You don't consider yourself at the peak. You consider yourself just starting. You know, when Just Jay took his eyes off the prize, man, and took his eyes off of the goals that he had, that's when it slipped, man. And you took advantage of that, man. So, you know, kudos to you, but we haven't even seen Just Jay ever since then. So,
hey,
you didn't just take his title, man. You took something else out of him.
Hey, if I lost to Me Too, I probably wouldn't come back either. So, especially after all the talking he did. So, what could I say? But at the end of the day, I can't look at the past. I got to look at what's in front of me, and what's in front of me is that fatal four-way match at No Remorse.
Yeah, John, what do you think of that match?
You know, I'm excited for that match. You know, there are some pretty good names there in that match. And I know you got to watch Rockstar because he'll do whatever it takes to win. And I know that. But let me say here first, I know we're not doing a fans weigh-in tonight since we only have the 2 matches. Hopefully next show we'll be back with that. But let me be the first to say I pick Ace Austin. Ace Christian.
That's the second. That is the second time you've messed up my name tonight, Hos. You got one more strike and you're out, buddy.
But I pick Ace Christian to win the match.
There you go. There you go. Jeez.
I would like to see Ace Christian versus Ace Austin.
That would be a match. See, that's
you
the
the
thing.
man.
I'm trying to will it here. Come on.
You the man. You the man, Gavin. You the man. So
I will say that I did try to make that match, but he was not available.
I understand.
But never say never. Never say never in the pro wrestling business. You never know what tomorrow brings. But yeah, John, you know, who would you like to see Ace Christian go up against here at WDWA? Because I'll be honest, like, we have a fantastic light heavyweight division, and I could just name a ton right off the top of my head, man. But you know, you were a fan. You would sit ringside all the time before joining WDWA. Who would you like to see go up against Ace Christian?
You know, there are so many names that I'd like to see him jump in the ring with. You know, we've seen him and Tommy before. That would be a great match. Axel Crow, that would be an awesome match. That's something I'd love to see. I wouldn't even know who to take in that match because they would be just two phenomenal competitors.
You wouldn't know who to take in that? You wouldn't know who to take in that?
He'd take Ace
I
Austin.
would.
He would take Ace Austin. Jeez.
But yeah, that would actually be an awesome match. That, you know, who?
Anton Nathan.
Who?
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
You know, is he still around?
I've reached out to him. I'd love to have him back here at WDWA, man. That guy always cracks me up, man. He's also very great in the ring, and I'd love to see him back in WDWA. But yeah, man, Ace, there's a ton of people on the roster. I can't wait to see you hook it up with, man. I think no matter who it is, whether they're in the lightweight division or whether they're not, you're going to tear the house down.
Oh, yeah.
But where did you learn how to wrestle, man? Like, how did you break in? Who did you train under? How long you been working?
So my dad, he wrestled. He trained with House of Pain back in like 2000. He unfortunately had to stop his reign on the independent scene because he had me, legitimately.
Damn you!
Yeah, it's all my fault. But honestly though, like that is a very good reasoning as to why I keep doing this is because I do it for the people around me and the people that have helped me grow and the people that have helped me get to the start or where I'm at. But I started my independent scene / pro scene back in 2023. And then I made my WDWA debut last year towards the end of the year. And then, just kind of been going a little bit all over the place on the East Coast. I went out.
I'm sorry. I want to back you up a little bit before you go any further. So you said your dad trained you, right?
Yep.
Did he train you at House of Pain? Did you guys have a wrestling ring? How did that come apart?
Yeah, we have a wrestling ring, and he taught me the basics.
So you have a wrestling ring at your house?
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's
not set up currently. It's like we had to rent out and stuff. But yeah, he would train me. I stepped in a professional wrestling ring when I was 11. So he had taught me from 11 until I made my debut when I was 17. So 6 years I've been basically grown up in a ring. And yeah, I mean, I just grew up watching wrestling. I grew up pretty much in the business, I guess you could say. But yeah, I just want to kind of continue that legacy. I want to continue any other legacy that has helped me to get to where I'm at today. So.
Yeah, and you said, you started wrestling around like the East Coast and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about some other companies you work with, where you travel, sort of your travel schedule, because I know you're all over the place.
Yeah, travel. So I normally go down North Carolina a good bit, but other than that, just Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, West Virginia. I went out to Iowa twice this year. Looking to go back there again next year. But yeah, I mean, looking to go anywhere and everywhere.
So what are your goals in wrestling, man? Like, what are you looking to achieve, before it's all said and done?
Well, the endings are far away, hopefully. But what I want to accomplish in wrestling, man, I just want to leave. I want to leave the business better than I saw it. I want to be able to grow and elevate myself as well, and be able to go places where I couldn't even imagine. And like I said, I want to really continue on legacies that have helped me grow and to have helped me grown up, and all that. So yeah, I mean, the goal is pretty simple. It's just to go as far as I can take it. And it doesn't happen by myself. It happens with the people that are around me.
Yeah. Well, man, I think you're doing great. Somebody as young as you and as new to the business as you are, to be able to travel as much as you are, and having those companies, call you back to travel again, man. That says something about your dedication and your talent. Like I said, higher than the sky's the limit, and whatever goals and stuff that you're after, man. I think you're a good kid with a good mindset, a good head on your shoulders, and I think you'll be able to achieve whatever you want to, because I know you put that hard work in. But yeah, man, I think you're still laying the foundation to your career, and to be WDWA light heavyweight champion and to represent the company as well as you do, man. It's an honor for myself and WDWA, and we just love having you, and I think you're doing phenomenal. And the fans love you. Everybody you've been in the ring with, you and them have elevated each other. I've seen people grow just for being in the ring with you, and Yeah, man, more than the sky's the limit.
Appreciate that. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, bringing me in the first place and then continuing to bring me back and give me this opportunity to be able to show what I can do and to be able to show to the people at WDWA that what I had to offer. And so it's not just because of me, it's because of the people that I literally rode with, and they ride with me on the journey of Ace Christian. So yeah, I appreciate you, and I appreciate each and every single person that comes out to support us.
So one thing I like, but I keep talking. So John, I'm sorry. I'll give you a second to talk here in a second. But one of the things that I like about you, man, is you're always you always have ideas, man. You always have things you want to do. You always are eager, to see what's next, what you're doing, who you're wrestling. And that shows passion. And one of the things that I don't see much, especially from younger guys, that are around your age that are breaking into business, is I don't really see passion. Like I see fans, wrestling fans, that think it's cool and want to wrestle. But there's very few people that are passionate about the business and all. And you're one of the young guys that have stuck out to me that want to be more than just, hey, call me when there's an opening. You want to contribute. You want to be successful. You want to do all, you want to attend seminars. You want to travel. You want to pick the brains of people that have worked longer than you. It's sad that a lot of people don't have that drive. But I think that's one of the reasons why you have become successful so quickly here in WDWA is because, you're there when the ring is set up. You're constantly just giving to the business. And speaking for myself and a lot of people that are that are in my circle of people, if you love the business enough, the business will love you back. It's not the easiest business. You're going to deal with a lot of shady promoters and shady stuff that happens in not WDWA, but in pro wrestling. And there's parts of it that can be really ugly, man. But when people have passion and they're willing to put the work in, it's so beautiful. Pro wrestling is such a beautiful thing, and I just appreciate all your hard work, man. So thank you for setting the bar for the people around you and your age and the people to come. I think it's phenomenal. John, you got anything for him before I talk all night?
I did get a couple questions in there, but I just wanted to say, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad to finally get you on. I kept telling you, we'll get there, just but I'm glad we could finally make it happen, and it's been a pleasure as always, and just look forward to seeing how much further you take that title, because you have done a remarkable job with it so far. And I know that you are going to just continue to dominate when it comes to that title. So just definitely look forward to seeing it. And best of luck to you in that 4-way match. Like I say, I've got either you or Ace Austin, whichever one shows up. I've got one of you.
So we'll see. But hey, I appreciate you guys. It means a lot. I don't like to do all the talking as far as compliments and stuff like that. I just let the work in the ring show for it, and I let people that have like a good mind in the business be able to do the talking for me, because it means a lot more whenever they say it rather than it comes from me. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, Ace, man, thanks for spending the time with us. I know you had to work late tonight and you made time for us, man, so I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see Ace Christian defend his light heavyweight championship against Rockstar Kelly, Dean Mosley, and Rex Riddle on October 11th at WDWA's No Remorse in Inwood, West Virginia. So come on out, show support to light heavyweight division as well as WDWA, see what we're doing, see how we're growing, see these 4 superstars kick some ass like we know they will. Ace, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hos,
Appreciate it.
you got anything? You gonna bring them on again?
Hey,
Hey, we'll get you back on sometime, but
okay.
It's always a good time to have you on, and thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh yeah, of course. I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I'll talk to you soon. And I'll see y'all on the 11th.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Yeah, you too.
Later. All right, man. Good kid, hard worker. Definitely can't wait to see what his future holds in WDWA as well as the wrestling business. And I meant every word I said. It's hard to find people, especially that age group, that love this business. They're just fans. A lot of them are just fans that like the cool moves and or want to be a part of the it crowd. And and it's unfortunate for them that not everybody is welcome in this crowd. It's it's a very, what I believe it should be, a very protected business. That a spot should be earned, not given, and it's an exclusive club that only some people should be a part of. And guys like Ace Christian, who's putting in all the training, man. He's traveling all over the country wherever he can go. He's attending all the seminars he can go. He's putting in the miles, man. We've had shows where he just got off driving 6-hour trip from working earlier in the morning, drove 6 or 7 hours to come work for us. Do that for a couple hours and work the next day. I mean, it shows that there's passion there, man, and it's an honor for him to be able to represent our company like that.
Yeah, he is a great talent. Always looking forward to seeing him when he's on the card, and he's great to talk with. He always talks with fans before the matches and stuff, and at halftime, and so just always great to see him. And definitely look forwards to it. And you talk about October 11th, and you talk about that match for October 11th, but of course you have named one other match for October 11th so far already. And
yep. What a match!
That's going to be a women's match. Kate Thorne versus Scarlett Midian. That's going to be a heck of a match,
Yeah, I'm happy to have both Kate Thorne and Scarlett Maiden back at WDWA. Both of these girls have been impressive whenever I've seen them in the ring. Scarlett's been nonstop, wanting to come back, and I only have but so many matches, on a card, but she was definitely one that no matter what, I was going to pencil in the second I could. And we had a spot open up, and I was happy to have her, reach out to her in a heartbeat. She was ready to come in. And the same thing with Kate Thorne. She's a young girl. She's in college. She's doing her thing. So it's not as easy to have her come in, but she's doing everything she can to work the college life as well as the wrestling life. And we just happened to have a day open where she could finally come in, and to have both of these hardworking women who really set the bar for the women's division come in and work no remorse for WDWA. Just goes to show that we're doing our best here to try to showcase the best talent that we can, and two of these girls definitely are on their names are getting high up in the women's division and around the East Coast.
Yeah, so definitely look forwards to seeing that match. And of course, here on Elevation, we'll be back here on October 6th, and we will have more matches to talk about at that point. And, we'll be bringing back the fans weigh in. So, we'll be looking for somebody to sit down with us and go through the matches, go through who you think's going to win. And, just definitely looking forwards to that. when that comes around. But just so much action this past weekend, so much action coming up, and just so much to look forward to, Gavin. And I don't know, still haven't totally, gotten past everything that happened this past weekend, and already starting to talk about a few weeks down the road. It's just absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, man, I get it. It takes a huge chunk of my life, to be able to run WDWA. But the second one show's over, the next show, I can't wait for it to get there. We try to run every 2 to 3 weeks, and sometimes it feels like forever for the next show. But the build up and all the anticipation just makes it that much better. But I'm looking forward to it, man. But yeah, everybody, our next show is October 11th, called No Remorse. We'll be back at the South Berkeley Fire Hall in Inwood, West Virginia. Front row tickets are $25 and general admission is $20. Please make all efforts to be there. If not, check us out on Frontline, like John mentioned earlier. We are so glad that everybody took the time to join us here on Elevation. And we have one more thing. John, you want to tell everybody about the FWWC before we sign off?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm kind of going to hit two things here at one time, because we have the world's premier fantasy wrestling league, the FWWC, Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter. And, with that, it is it's fantasy wrestling, as it says in its name. You have fantasy football, fantasy baseball, all these fantasy leagues. Well, we have fantasy wrestling for you. And with that, we simply go ahead and we do promos against each other, and, it gives us an opportunity to kind of trash talk and get at each other, just like you see, on WDWA's page, or like you do WWE's on that when they get to do their promos. And then we have matches that we actually role play the matches, so that you can kind of envision what happens, because we put that on our Facebook page. And we have actual championships. I wish I could show you mine, but somebody hadn't gotten it back yet. But it is what it is.
I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I know. Sam just keeps running. That's okay. But yeah. So we have actual championships you can win. And with the matches, we actually put everybody in rooms. You pick based on, right now we mostly use WWE, and you pick who you think's going to win the match. And if you're right, you get a point. And if you're wrong, obviously you don't. And the person who gets the most points, they're the ones that win, and they're the ones that win the match. And it's just a really good time, and from time to time we do get together and have different events, and we just have a great time with that. We actually are going to be launching a podcast called FWWC Tonight. It's actually going to be relaunching. I don't know the exact date for that yet, but next Tuesday night on Wrestle Talk Podcast, you are going to see Miss Susie Hos. My sister Susie Hos, who you see ringside all the time. She will be one of the hosts, along with Ace. Not Ace Christian, not Ace Austin, but just simply Ace. He will be the other host. He is an FWWC superstar. He is also the one that runs Doomed Outfitters, which is the company that makes the titles for the FWWC. And they will together host the Wrestle Talk podcast next week. And they will they'll obviously be talking some FWWC business. They may give you the date that the FWWC tonight will be coming back, because he will be the one hosting FWWC tonight. And just they'll be talking a lot of wrestling and having a good time, so be sure to check that out. But we do have a little thing here for the FWWC real quick.
Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, where the world's smartest wrestling fans come together to compete for real championships. Original characters, trash talking, picks during live events, pay-per-views, and even get-togethers like bowling, ice skating, and pool tournaments as well. We have members from across the globe who will stop at nothing to climb to the top of the fantasy wrestling power rankings. Simply the best fantasy wrestling group in the world. Why? Because of you, the creative and active members of the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter.
But be sure to check us out on Facebook, Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, and check them out. Be sure to check out Wrestle Talk Podcast. Like I say, next week, hosted by Ace and Susie. And I believe I misspoke a little bit ago when I said we would be back on the 6th. I believe it's actually October 7th, not the 6th. The 6th is the Monday. But we'll be back here on October 7th with Elevation. So, just so much going on, Gavin.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it. A lot of things going on, Wrestle Talk, a lot of things going on at the FWWC, a lot of things going on at the WDWA, man, but all in good fun. The family just keeps growing, brother.
Yeah, definitely. And, just can't wait to get back here again with Elevation and, to get the fans weigh in going again, and just to go through all the matches that'll be coming up. It'll be absolutely great time. But, I think that's about it for tonight. You got anything else for us, Gavin?
No, man, that's it. We can't wait to talk to everybody again on episode 12 in 2 weeks. But before we do that, WDWA No Remorse, South Berkeley Fire Hall in Inwood, West Virginia on the 11th. We hope to see everybody there. John, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait to see you again on the 12th. Or can't wait to see you on episode 12. And I can't wait to see you at the show, buddy.
That's right. Episode 12, Tuesday, October 7th. Be sure to tune in. Tune in to Wrestle Talk Podcast next week for another great episode of Wrestle Talk Podcast. Be sure to tune in to WDWA Frontline every single Thursday night, 8 p.m. And be sure to check out the WDWA Facebook page. Make sure you follow that. They'll be releasing matches all throughout the next few weeks and stuff. So be sure to keep your eyes there. And the QR code on the screen, that'll take you to WDWA. So, that will give you all the information. That one will give you all of the Wrestle Talk Podcast information. It'll give you all the links on where to go to for Wrestle Talk Podcast. So, be sure to check those out. And if you see that guy, be sure to knock him out and bring me my belt back.
All right, John. Well, it's been fun, man. Thanks again for Ace Christian for joining us. Thank you for everybody, all the viewers for joining us on all the different social media platforms. We will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Peace.